Guys, I've made French Canadian shepherd's pie. It's delicious. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. This flavorful dish. If you want to see how I've created this, stay tuned and let's get started. Come on in, guys. You guys, we're going to be peeling our potatoes. I have my potatoes that I've already washed here. So we're gonna peel our potatoes. My ground beef, we're gonna season that. There's the Mexican video that I did on how I cook my ground beef. I'm just gonna season that. You can follow how I wash it. I wash it with lemon juice and give it a nice bath with lemon juice and vinegar. And that's my épices. I have my Lowry seasoning salt in there. I have some adobo that I'm going to sprinkle lightly on top. And we're going to give it a wind. I'm going to throw in just a little bit of cayenne pepper into that. Not too much because the kids are going to be eating this. This is really for the kids. Throw in some cayenne pepper. Oops. Okay. And then we're going to cook this and we're going to peel our potatoes. And let's get to it, you guys. Come on in. Get started with making our ground beef. I have one whole onion in here. And I have a half a cup of bell peppers. So I mix mine in with orange bell peppers, red peppers. If you have green bell peppers, whatever color of the rainbow that you want, but the sweet bell peppers, you're gonna start sauteing this at this time. We're gonna let this, let it brown up a little bit until it's nice and translucent, and then we're gonna add our ground beef into that. That's waiting patiently for it to be cooked. In the meantime, I have the potatoes here. I've cut them up and I have it in some water. I'm rinsing it off again, remove the extra starch, and we're going to put that in we're going to start boiling this in cold water and not in hot water. So we're going to get our pot ready and put our potatoes in. All right. Can you see this? It's browning up nicely. Lower your temp. See that there's not much fat in here. This is less than a teaspoon of olive oil in here that I'm sauteing this because I did not get lean ground beef. My beef is, it has a percentage of fat in it, so it's going to produce its own fat in this dish. So we're going to not add too much fat to the to saute our vegetables because the meat is going to give off its own fat. Okay, so we're going to add our beef. We're going to introduce the beef to the veggies. Right, yeah, season nicely. Let me get that in. Okay, so we're going to leave that in here. Going to let that cook. I've stirred it up, and now we're going to let it cook for about 20 minutes, okay? Don't worry, it's not pink. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just because of the seasoning that I've added and how I've washed it. Cleaned it, so don't worry, you guys. This is not bad ground beef. It's the seasoning that I've added, my épices, that's really dark because of all of the thyme, the parsley in there, and that's what gives it that darker color, and because of it's been marinating. So don't worry about it. We're going to keep that cooking for about 20 minutes, and you'll see a difference. So you guys, I've added a sprig of thyme, and I've chopped up some parsley in there, okay? There's my thyme. And I've chopped up some parsley. So we're going to let that cook up. And now we're going to add a tablespoon of tomato paste. Okay? And we're going to stir that in. And we're going to let it fry up a little bit with that. Okay, you guys. So there's not much fat. Like I said, there's a little fat. I don't like to buy, sometimes, it depends on the dish. But because we're making this potatoes, I can't buy a lean ground beef. You could. You can also make this with ground turkey, but like I said, I didn't remove any of the fat, but there's not much fat in it either for me to drain. It's a tad, and I'll take a little bit of that out. Okay, I will remove that. I'll put it on the side once this is, but look at the color of this, and it tastes delicious, you guys. Some people could eat this right just as it is on a roll, you know. It's got a little kick, not too much, because this is for the children. because I'm making polenta for the hubby right here. Some salmon polenta. So you guys, let's get this started. I'm going to let this fry up a little bit for about 5 minutes, okay? And the reason why I say 5 minutes is because I'm not making a tomato sauce like to eat with spaghetti. I don't want the taste of the tomato paste. So that's why we're going to fry it off a little bit. And then I'm going to drain off the little bit of fat that's coming up to surface, okay? Okay, you want to taste it. You want to taste it, you guys, and see what it's missing. Does it need a little bit more salt? Does it need anything else? You know me, I like to always add on and always season, and add flavor. So here are 3 cloves of garlic minced up. We're going to stir that in. Add in about a tablespoon of water just so you could dilute it a little bit into there so it could dissipate really well. And then we're going to let that cook up, taste it, and I'm telling you, it tastes amazing. The garlic really did it. If you don't have fresh garlic, you can add a tablespoon of powdered garlic, okay? So what you're going to do is just tilt your pan over to the side, like what I've done. I've put the meat on one side, and you're going to tilt it and let that fat go over to the side, and you're going to remove it. All right, I've removed as much fat as I could, okay? It wasn't much, like I said, but it's enough. You know, you don't want all of that extra fat in your dish, but you do want the flavor. So we're going to put this to the side. We're going to get the potatoes into our into some cold water and bring it up to a boil. All right, so for the potatoes, I have my water. I'm going to turn the stove on, and I have 2 cloves of garlic, which I've peeled here and just smashed up just a tad bit. I'm going to bring it up to a boil, and I'm also going to add a sprig of thyme to this. You just want to zhuzh it up. This is not your average pâté chinois. So like I said, this is different, made differently, but this is the way the Québécois make it, minus the way I zhuzh it up. So I'm zhuzhing mine up with some garlic and fresh thyme and some salt, of course. And then we are going to begin to build this, you guys. So let's cook our potatoes up. We're going to mash them up, and let's show you how it's done. There goes the thyme. However you can season it up. If you don't want to add the thyme or the garlic, you can omit that. But we're banking on flavor here, and you want the flavors to, you know, really marry, and you want, when you're eating, you don't want your food to taste bland. But if you don't like a lot of seasoning, you know what? Omit this, omit the thyme, omit the garlic. That's fine. Just boil your potatoes with just salt, and that'll be fine just as well. All right, you guys, let this start cooking for about a half an hour. So what I've done is I've drained my potatoes, okay, and I've added a pat of butter. You can see it right there. You can see the difference. And I've added a splash of milk, okay? Not too much. Just pretend you're making mashed potatoes, okay? Now I'm going to smash these up really nicely, and then we're going to begin to layer it. Put some elbow grease in that. Mash it up really nice and smooth and creamy, okay? Not lumpy. Okay, so I have my pan that is greased. I put butter all throughout. My mashed potatoes are ready. My ground beef and my cream corn. And this is what makes this, the Québécois, the French Canadian shepherd's pie different, because they use cream corn as opposed to peas and corn, etc. So we're going to begin by starting with potatoes. I like to put a layer of potatoes first. I think it cuts nicer, it's better, and it's, you know, one piece you get nice and full, as opposed to just the meat on the bottom. It makes it a little bit sloppy. So I'm going to layer my first layer with the potatoes, and that's why you have to grease your pan, okay? Okay, and now we're going to add our ground beef to this. And layer it nicely. Okay. Oh, the meat is so flavorful, you guys. It's extremely flavorful. And this is 1.5 pounds of beef. Let me spread that out. So I have it, and what I try to do is I try to push it in just a tad bit. Okay, I just try to push it into the potatoes so that when it's cut, it's perfectly delicious. Now my son is here, and he, of course, he likes to taste, so he's happy. He just came home from school. Now this is the cream corn. I don't like cream corn, you guys. You can make this yourself. As a matter of fact, I should make the recipe when I'm, I like to make my own fresh cream corn when it's corn season. But today I'm just using the can, and you can see there's not much kernels in that, but this is the recipe for the French Canadian way that they make the cream corn, and I'm telling you, lots of people love it. Okay, so that is it. Cover that up, and now we're going to add our potatoes to the last layer. Okay, so I have a helper. You guys don't spread it out yet. Just put them down, and then we'll get to spreading that out. The goodness of the potato. Okay, keep going, keep going. Put those potatoes in there. All right, let's try to start smoothing it out right now. So you guys, as you can see, just gently that I'm covering this up, not too much pressure to mix it up, okay? But like I said, this is a wonderful dish to add and to make for Thanksgiving. We always have this for Thanksgiving, you guys. Not the French Canadian way, but the one, as you know, this is mainly an Irish dish. So how they call it Pâté Chinois or Chinese pie, I don't know where it came from, but you can look that up. I think it had something to do with the Chinese railways or something like that. But you guys, I'm going to finish this up and we're going to put this in the oven. But this is an amazing dish. The kids love it when they have shepherd's pie, Pâté Chinois, at any event. So we make sure that it is there because we know that the kids will definitely eat it. But you know what? This is a wonderful dish, like I said, to add to your Thanksgiving dinner, to keep it. And you can make it ahead. You can put it in a freezer. But it's a nice casserole dish that you can use to take to a party or any kind of dinner. And it's good, like if you work every day, you can put it in the fridge, and you can have the kids cut it up when they come from school, cut their piece or whatever, however they like it. And we're going to finish off. Let's finish up with the potatoes, adding the layers onto that. And then we're going to add pats of butter and throw it in the oven, you guys. Let's see. Let me finish this up real quick. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the butter. You can see how I smeared the butter all over on top. There you go. It's melting because my potatoes are really hot, you guys. The best way for you to mash your potatoes, they have to be really hot, okay? Very nice and hot. That goes into the oven, 350 degrees. And then we're going to see what it looks like at the end, you guys. We're going to put this in for about, because honestly, nothing in here is raw. So we're just going to bake it until it's brown. Everybody's temp is different. So we're going to throw it in and top it. I'm going to add a dab of paprika on mine. You don't have to. But this is a little something that I like to do. Just a little bit. And this isn't the smoked paprika. This is regular paprika. Just a little dab-a-doo-ya. Okay. And that is it. You guys throw it right in the oven, 350 degrees. Guys, so here is my shepherd's pie. It's completely done. I noticed that one of the sides is darker than the other. I don't know why. But we're going to cut this and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, you guys. So this is the piece that I have cut. You guys are going to enjoy it. It's like I said, this is the French Canadian shepherd's pie. You guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I love you guys for coming and taking the time to spend with me in my kitchen. Like, comment, subscribe, you guys. And I hope you've been affected. Bye. Love you guys.